The man who couldn't run away. Let me tell you about a man who was given a choice we would all dread. Imagine, you're wealthy, respected, and deeply loved. Your life is full of friends, fine food, laughter, and purpose. Then, one day, you're handed a death sentence. Not by a judge, but by your own body. A painful, debilitating, humiliating illness is taking over, and there's no cure. Every doctor shakes their head. Every day brings less mobility, more pain. What do? If you're like most of us in the modern world, you'd fight. You'd rage. You'd scour the internet for experimental treatments. You'd weep, asking, why me? The sheer psychological weight of it would feel unbearable. Our entire culture teaches us to resist suffering, to avoid pain at all costs, to see our crumbling health as the ultimate enemy. But what if I told you there was a man, over 2,000 years ago, who faced this exact nightmare, and his response was so radically calm, so utterly peaceful, that it wasn't just inspiring, it was world-changing. His name was Publius Aelius Hadrianus Sabinus. But you probably know him as Epictetus. And his story isn't just about enduring pain. It's about a secret weapon of the mind, an ancient way of thinking that didn't just help him survive his fate, it allowed him to become one of history's most influential teachers while trapped in a broken body. This is the story of Stoicism, not as a dusty philosophy, but as a survival manual for the soul. It asks a haunting, powerful question: what if the things that break us are only broken because of how we think about them? The broken body, the unbreakable mind. Epictetus wasn't born a philosopher. He was born a slave, around 50 AD, in the eastern reaches of the Roman Empire. His very name, Epictetus, means acquired or gained, a label, not an identity. His master was Epaphroditos, a powerful freedman and secretary to the Emperor Nero. History tells us Epaphroditos was cruel. One legend, which may be more parable than fact but captures the truth of his suffering, says that Epaphroditos once twisted Epictetus's leg for amusement. "If you keep twisting," the young slave said calmly, "you will break it." Epaphroditos twisted harder, and the bone snapped. Epictetus, without a change in expression, simply said, "Did I not tell you that you would break it?" Whether this exact event happened, the result was real and permanent. Epictetus was left with a mangled, lame leg for the rest of his life. He was a slave, and now a disabled slave, a person with almost no social value in the brutal Roman world. This is our first shock. We expect the story of a victim. We expect bitterness, despair, a spirit crushed by injustice. But that's not what happened. Somehow, Epictetus found his way to the lectures of a Stoic philosopher named Musonius Rufus. And there, something clicked. Stoicism, which began in Greece, taught a core, revolutionary idea: our suffering doesn't come from events themselves, but from our judgments about those events. The world is divided into two things. 1. Things we control, our opinions, our desires, our aversions, and our own actions. 2. Things we do not control, our body, our reputation, our wealth, our health, other people's actions, the past, the future. Epictetus realized his master controlled his body. Society controlled his status as a slave. These were external things, outside the fortress, as he would later say. But his mind, his character, his choice to be virtuous or vicious, to assent to a thought or reject it, that was his. And no one, not even a torturer, could take that away unless he surrendered it. His broken leg was not a choice. His rage about the broken leg, his shame from it, his belief that it made him worthless, those were up to him. He could choose to see himself as a victim of fortune, or he could choose to see the event as material for building his character. He chose the latter. The art of mental jiu-jitsu. So how does this work in practice? It sounds like positive thinking, but it's far more rigorous. Epictetus called it the discipline of desire and aversion. The discipline of desire: train yourself to only desire things that are truly within your control, like being honest, courageous, and just. Stop craving perfect health, wealth, or fame, because those are fickle and not yours to command. The discipline of aversion: train yourself to only be averse to things within your control, like being vicious, cowardly, or irrational. Stop being terrified of poverty, sickness, or criticism, because fearing what you can't control is a guarantee of misery. He used a beautiful, simple analogy. Life is like being invited to a grand banquet. Dishes, events, people, situations, are passed around. Some come to you, some pass you by. Your job is not to lunge for every dish, cursing when you miss the roast goose. Your job is to gracefully accept what is served to you and to take a polite portion. If the dish of chronic pain, or poverty, or insult, is passed to you, your task is to accept it without drama and deal with it as well as you can. This is mental jujitsu. You stop resisting the force of reality. You use its own weight to find your balance. A modern example: you're stuck in terrible traffic. You can't control the cars, external. You can control your reaction, internal. Raging, honking, and stressing changes nothing but your blood pressure. Accepting it as an opportunity to listen to an audiobook or sit with your thoughts transforms a frustrating event into a neutral or even positive one. For Epictetus, his lameness was just a dish that had been served to him. It was a fact. His philosophy was, I must be lame. Well, shall I be lame and bitter, or shall I be lame and serene, and kind, and wise? The lameness is fate's business, the character is mine. The shock that rewards your patience. After being freed following Nero's death, Epictetus began teaching in Rome. His reputation grew, not just as a smart man, but as a man who lived his words. He owned almost nothing. He lived in a simple hut with a straw pallet and a clay lamp. After someone stole his iron one, he famously replaced it with one even harder to steal. His power came from his undeniable authenticity. Then, in 93 AD, Emperor Domitian, a paranoid and cruel ruler, grew afraid of philosophers. They taught independent thinking, which was dangerous to a tyrant. Domitian issued an edict: all philosophers must leave Rome, on pain of death. Here is the moment that separates ancient steel from modern glass. Imagine you are Epictetus. You are a disabled former slave in your 40s. You have built a life, a school, a community of students who revere you. An all-powerful emperor now tells you to abandon it all and flee into exile, to a frontier province, or be executed. What is your internal monologue? This is unfair. I've done nothing wrong. My life is ruined. I'll be destitute. All my work is for nothing. I'm terrified. This is what would break most of us. The injustice, the loss, the terror, the upheaval. Now, listen to what Epictetus actually said and did, as recorded by his student Arian. He did not rage. He did not plead. He did not panic. He simply packed up his few belongings. He looked at his students, who were heartbroken and afraid for him, and he said something that echoes through millennia with chilling, serene power. You exile me to where? To another part of the world. But the whole world is my home. You confiscate my little farm. But any farm is mine if I care for it rightly. You take away my body. Well, that was only a loan from the universe anyway. You cannot exile me from myself. You cannot take away my ability to choose my response. So do what you will. I am free wherever I am. And he walked out of Rome, lame leg and all, not as a defeated refugee, but as a man who had simply been served a new dish at the banquet, exile. He went to Nicopolis in Greece and started a new school. It was there, in exile, that he taught the lessons that would be written down as the Discourses and the Enchiridion, handbook, texts that would guide Roman emperors, inspire cognitive behavioral therapy, and help millions to this day. That is the shocking moment. The tyrant's worst punishment, exile and the threat of death, was met not with collapse, but with a shrug of the soul. Domitian thought he was punishing him. In Epictetus's mind, he was merely giving him a new place to practice being virtuous. The emperor had no power over the only thing Epictetus cared about, his own moral character. The endurance that built a legacy. In Nicopolis, Epictetus's fame exploded. People traveled across the empire to sit on his humble bench. He taught not with complex jargon, but with blunt, vivid, often humorous street language. He shouted at students who were just there for intellectual showmanship, "Slap your own face. That's all philosophy is to you, cosmetic." He taught future leaders, like the young historian Arian, who had the wisdom to write his words down. He taught that philosophy isn't about arguing over syllables, but about preparing for life's blows, the death of a child, the loss of a job, betrayal by a friend, the ache of a failing body. He died an old man, still lame, still owning nothing of great material value. But his legacy was a fortress of the mind that he built within himself, a fortress no emperor, no torturer, no illness could ever besiege. His final lesson was his life itself: we are not broken by events. We are broken by our belief that those events should not have happened. Suffering equals pain x resistance. Reduce the resistance, the frantic, "this shouldn't be." And you manage the suffering. Your invitation to the banquet. So, what's the takeaway for us, here in our world of anxiety, overwhelm, and fragility? Epictetus's story isn't asking you to be emotionless or to love pain. It's offering a tool, the power of focus. When you feel yourself breaking, under stress, under grief, under pressure, ask Epictetus's question: what is mine to do here, and what is not? Your colleague's rudeness? Not yours. Your calm reply? Yours. The traffic jam? Not yours. Your podcast choice? Yours. The diagnosis? Not fully yours. Your attitude in facing it? Deeply, profoundly yours. The ancient mind endured because it knew where to build its walls. It built them not around a perfect, pain-free life, that's an impossible fortress to defend. It built them around the only thing that can never be taken, your inner citadel of choice, character, and judgment. We get broken because we try to control the uncontrollable. We endure when we pour our energy into the one thing we truly own, ourselves. If this story of an unbreakable mind resonated with you, you're already building your own inner citadel. The conversation doesn't have to end here. Subscribe for more deep dives into the philosophies and stories that teach us how to live. Like this video if it gave you a new perspective, it helps others find this path to resilience. Share it with a friend who might need Epictetus's reminder today, that they are far, far stronger than they think. In the comments below, tell me, what's one external thing you've been letting control your peace lately? Let's discuss how we can apply a little ancient wisdom to it. Remember, you cannot always choose your dish at the banquet of life. But you can always choose how you eat it. Thank you for listening. Stay strong.